We think love means holding on, but real love, it begins the moment you let go. Here's why letting go is your greatest act of love. One of the most important things we're going to do in this world is the process of releasing attachments. It's one of the biggest lessons of our life, and it's one of the most freeing things we will ever do in our life. So let's explore this very important quality and trait in our spiritual journey and in our life experiences. So what do we mean when we're attached to something? Well, being attached to something means you're binding your consciousness to something of the physical world, real or imagined. And by doing that, your attention is nowhere else but there. And it does create a type of dependency. You see this as a source of something, whether it's a source of pleasure or a source of love or a source of prosperity. But ironically, we can be attached to something we love, but we can also be attached to something we hate. Freud said the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. So our attachments can be to the pleasures of life or to the traumas of life. Either way, this binding constricts and restricts our spiritual expression and our love flow. So the goal is to remain loving, to be loving, but to be free of those attachments. Now, why is it so hard to let go of an attachment? Well, the first is the ego. Our ego doesn't want to often let go of its grudges or resentments or the things that it wants. It's stubborn. It's like a stubborn child says, no, I want this. Well, as adults, we can be that same thing again, even if that person's not right for us. We can be in a love affair and that person is totally wrong for us and everybody is seeing it but us. We've got the rose-colored glasses on, and sometimes it takes a shocking experience to realize, oh wow, this person isn't exactly the person I thought they were. And that could be a little depressing at first, but ironically, it's the beginning of our real freedom, because maybe the person that's really meant to be in our life is already there, but my attention has been here so much because my attachment's going in that place right now. Another reason it's attachments are hard to let go of is we do form a dependency on it. So if I look at something as my source of love or source of income or source of resources, I'm going to be very possessive of that. I'm going to want that no matter what. I'll be jealous of anything challenges that. And that, although I may be receiving from there, it is limiting. And sometimes when in matters of love, we call this conditional love. Well, what do we mean by conditional love as opposed to unconditional love, which is the goal in our spiritual journey? Well, conditional love means I'm loving something about that person. I love the way that person looks, or I love the way what that person does for me. What if their looks changes? What if what they did changes? Do we not love them anymore? We have to learn to love what? The soul in that other person. And we have to do that without thought of return. And that's what's meant by unconditional love. We're not putting a condition on it. The greatest love of all is that unconditional love, because it's so genuine, it's so sincere, it's so mutual, and it's not contingent upon place or time or particular things going on in an area, in a time. We're meant to have loving exchanges with others. We're meant to have productive exchanges with others. We're meant to go for the things we want in our life. So how do we do all those things without it being an attachment? And this brings up a very important quality of the difference between an attachment and a bond. Let's take an example of a relationship. In the auric field, when we are interacting with other people, there is an auric exchange that's going on. We may not be aware of it, but we certainly feel it. We all know how wonderful it feels when we've had an uplifting experience with somebody else. It's elevating to us, it's elevating to them. We also know how debilitating it can be when we have a difficult exchange or a fight with somebody. We can feel extremely drained after the fight, and they can feel the same way too. And this has to do with the way the energies are exchanging with each other. So the challenge is with an attachment, while you are giving to that person, there is a dependency, which means there's a pulling of energy. You are depending, and there's literal energy draw from one person to another that can actually be seen in the auric field. And of course, that's not healthy, because what if that person is not in your life anymore? Then that's what you see as that source is no longer there, and that could put you in a great despondency. Bonding with somebody is ironically the opposite of that. The beauty of bonding with somebody is it's not about what you're getting from somebody, it's what you're giving to somebody. And in return, it's for them, it's not what they're getting from you, it's what they're giving to you. So there's this steady giving out of energy with each other. And that is a very uplifting thing to see. Remember, in the life of spirit, it's what you give that counts more than what you're getting. St. Francis of Assisi, the great saint, said it's better to give love than to receive love. Well, why is that? Why is it better to give love than to receive it? It sounds good, but when we think about it, anybody can receive something, but not everybody can give. I can't give you what I don't have. For example, if you're asking me for $100, you need $100 for something, I don't have $100, I can't give you what I don't have. But I could certainly take $100 from you if you offer it to me. In the same way, you can't give something if you don't already possess it. And if it's love or inspiration or power or whatever it is, that means you've generated it yourself. So in the life of spirit, there is this constant giving out. But in the process of giving out, you are also being filled up and receiving. And there's a tremendous joy with this. But of course, it can't be conditional. If you give and you expect a return, well, that could be a fair exchange, but that's not what we're speaking of here. In the act of service, in the act of giving, and the act of being in a detached state, but yet in an exalted state, is this giving. On the other side, the material mind, the physical mind, is in a constant state of taking, because the physical world itself is in a constant state of drawing and taking from the spiritual world that's sustaining it. So when we say somebody's very materialistic minded, very concerned only about their own interests, they're selfish. They're thinking about what they're accumulating, and that is that drawing in. The real satisfaction in life comes from the giving out, and that is helping enormously in the process of detaching. There's a beautiful teaching in the sacred scripture of the Bhagavad Gita that talks about work without attachment. Wow. Work without attachment? What do you mean? I'm working because I want to get a paycheck, or I'm trying to achieve in this project? You're saying don't do those things? Just work for work's sake? Well, that's not exactly what the teaching is saying. The teaching is saying, of course you aspire to things, but you're not always in control of the outcome of what you're doing. Again, if you're trying to take things from that spiritual detached place, of course you put your heart and energy into everything that you're doing, but you do it without constricting the outcome. If it works out the way you want, of course you're happy about it. But if it doesn't, you're okay with that too, because you'll pursue something else that will help you get to where you need to be. So what happens when you really do let go in love? And let's talk about in love, because the act of letting go is a loving thing. When we're kids, we're preoccupied with the things of childhood. We let them go so we can take up the things of adulthood, right? There is a constant change in life, and that goes on throughout our life. Well, there's another common misconception that, well, if I love somebody, of course I want to be attached to them. If I detach, I won't love them as much anymore. Well, there is the process of the detachment itself, but the irony is when you actually detach, you actually love people more because there's greater freedom in your expression. The dependency is almost like chains. It's constricting the love flow. And by the act of releasing, you're loving them for who they really are, even if they don't always give you what you want. It's not that, oh, you better give me what I give you right back. It's for that joy of expressing the love. And it's a very uplifting quality to express. We look at the lives of the saints and sages through the ages. They sacrificed tremendous amounts of things, but they also got this inner sense of joy. If you even look at the Mother Teresa and the work that she did and the pictures of her, she doesn't have this long, sad face. There's this tremendous joy in what she's doing. And she sacrificed a lot in her own life. She gave up a lot, but she's giving a lot. And that was a tremendous elevating for countless people, as well as the inspiration her story tells even to this very day. All right, so the thing to remember with letting go is ultimately it gives you more freedom of expression, more freedom to love, more freedom to be creative, and more freedom to be inspired. Remember why you are really here on this earth. It's a schoolhouse. We're here to learn and grow. We are not here forever. We are going to go on to the greater life. So we have to have perspectives. We have to really love the people that are in our life, but see there's a bigger picture going on. And as long as we see them as the channels of love and not the source, we're going to be very successful in the things we do, and we won't feel that dependency that happens when we're attached. So as spiritual students, you are aiming to be more of the Spirit, and that Spirit is a joyful, elevating state. If you want to learn more about letting go and metaphysics, sign up for our YouTube channel for more videos like this, and check out our website to learn more about our books and courses.